to another video of Guy with a Camera in Asia. And I am back in Phnom Penh. Actually, by now already for more than a week, as you are seeing this video. And yeah, I'm still staying at my Airbnb here in Phnom Penh. And in today's video, I want to give you five practical things that you shouldn't do when you're in Cambodia, according to me. I'm recording this outside, but opposite of me there is a construction of a house going on, so there might be some background noises. I'm sorry for that, but I hope you will bear with me. So let's go to the video. Okay, so number one. The first thing that you shouldn't do in Cambodia is eating raw vegetables or sauce, which doesn't look good. Actually, about 2 days ago, I had food poisoning, and it was probably because I ate a dish that contained raw vegetables, or because of the sauce that I had to dip it in. There are some traditional Cambodian specialties which contain raw vegetables, and then usually those vegetables you have to dip in a certain sauce. But if either the vegetables or the sauce are not clean, then you can get some pretty bad stomach problems, like I have. And yeah, that's you really shouldn't do that, because the vegetables, they come straight from the land, and they can contain bird poop, manure, that kind of stuff. And sauce is oftentimes stored outside of the cooling, which means that after some days or weeks it starts to spoil, but it might not yet be replaced. And well, me, for one night I really vomited my guts out. And I felt really weak the next day. It's just really not something that you want to experience, so don't do that. Be very careful with what you eat here in Cambodia, especially with sauces and raw vegetables. Number two, don't drink tap water here in Cambodia. This is something that is kind of a cliche, and it counts for many other countries too. But definitely also for Cambodia. The tap water here is not clean. And actually I studied water management. And I know from that study that usually the problem is actually not in the filtration step, like getting the raw water and filtering it. But the problem is actually in the distribution of the water from the production towards your house and ultimately your tap. There are often some leaks in the pipe system, and some pathogens can enter the system and start to grow, and that's dangerous for your health. Plus, they might add some chlorine to the water, which is also not very healthy, or your stomach might get upset from it. So don't drink tap water, although you can use it for like brushing your teeth, showering, cooking rice, also making tea, by the way. You can also use tap water for that. Okay. Number three. So the third thing you shouldn't do in Cambodia is walking outside during midday on a sunny day, right in the sun, without hugging the shadows. Because as you might guess, it can get pretty hot here during the day. And some days when there is a clear sky and the sun is beating down on the country very harshly, it can actually be quite dangerous to be walking outside or doing physical exercise in the sun. without staying in the shadows. Or so you can go outside, but you should stay in the shadows as much as possible. And even the locals here, they they don't do that. They don't go out in the sun during midday and just chill out there or take walks. They always either do that in the morning or in the late afternoon, evening, when the sun is already set. Um, there are actually some construction workers right here where I'm looking at, but I think even they have some ways in order to avoid the midday sun. Either they stay in the shadow or they take a siesta of a few hours during the afternoon in order to avoid the worst heat. Really don't do it, I've made the mistake a couple of times also when I was in Southeast Asia before. But yeah, it's really quite dangerous. Like if you go outside in the sun, midday in the sun, maybe go for 15 minutes and enter an air-conditioned store or something after that to cool down again. It's better to, and if you need to go somewhere, step on your motorcycle so you have a fresh breeze, use a tuk-tuk, stay in the car, and when you arrive somewhere, then try to stay in the shadow again. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, paying for everything in dollars instead of real. So Cambodia basically has two currencies, two accepted currencies, which is their own currency, the real, and the dollar. And in most places you can pay with either dollar or real. But if you pay in dollars, then oftentimes you end up paying a little bit more than if you would pay in real. So it's better to always have some reals with you, either in cash or in for example, your ABA wallet, to pay digitally in real. Because then you pay the actual price. Well, if you pay in dollars, they take some sort of out of convenience. I think they basically calculate only 4,000 real for the dollar, while actually the dollar is worth like 4,200 or 4,300 real. So it's not really, they don't rip you off oftentimes, but it's just a convenient thing which makes you end up paying a little bit more for everything than if you would pay it in real. It's better to just exchange your dollars to real, actually. And the last thing you shouldn't do, or number 5 of my list, when you are in Cambodia, is to judge them, the Cambodians or the Khmer, completely by your own, often Western standards. Well, at least me, I come from a completely different part of the world where people have not completely the same values and norms as they do have here. And we can sometimes have the tendency to try to judge everything that the people here do by our own norms and values. But I think you shouldn't do that because, first of all, you're a guest here, of course. So they allowed you to be here in their country. But there is more, of course. Also, you probably came here to see or experience something else than what you were used to in the Western world. And hopefully that doesn't only count for the natural environment or the physical things that you can eat here, for example, but also for the people and the way they think and behave. You came here because you wanted to see something else, because you wanted to experience something else, and if that's the case, then why would you just judge them completely by your own norms and values, their ideas and behavior? That doesn't make sense. So yeah, and maybe as a last reason why you shouldn't judge them completely by your own norms and values is because um, you will just have a much better time if you can accept at least partly the way they think and behave. If you're always if you're always thinking that they should do things differently or behave differently, then there's always going to be internal friction in you, and you're not going to have a good time here in Cambodia. Even if you're just here for a few weeks, maybe a few days, only to see Angkor Wat, then you'll be fine. But if you go here for a longer period of time, you're definitely going to have a better time if you have an open mind and you try to understand and accept the way people think and behave here. Which is of course what we all want, right? We want to be happy. So yeah, and that was the list of 5 things that you should not do while you're here in Cambodia. More practical things, I would say. So if you liked this video, then please hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, then consider subscribing to my channel, Guy with the Camera in Asia. And yeah, you will see me in future videos making more content from Cambodia and probably other countries in this region. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.